Good evening or good afternoon. I'm like confused. Is it afternoon or evening? We're about to go over to my grandmother's, and I really want to do this really quick update because we do have a catastrophic typhoon, which I've been working on college, and I didn't even know it existed. And then I just was like, what's going on in the Pacific? And boom, this popped up. Just want to give a little latest update on, I think it's Super Typhoon Chanthu. Correct me if I mispronounced this. Latest update now, air pressure down to 902 millibars. Maximum sustained winds are now of 180 miles an hour. One of the most powerful typhoons in the history of the Philippines, one of the most powerful typhoons in the West Pacific. But the most powerful one goes to Typhoon Tip of 1979, an air pressure of 870 millibars. Air pressure in this one is estimated to be about 902 millibars. Just an incredibly catastrophic, extremely powerful hurricane typhoon here. An incredibly small eye, so you can really see that typhoon moving in there. Just an incredibly strong, and actually just incredibly catastrophic right there. Look at this. It is an unbelievably powerful, unrelentless typhoon here. As you can see, let's just move this in a few more hours. Actually see where the eye has actually gotten smaller. A little bit more. This is one of the most powerful typhoons, again, on record history, and I really wanted to, not sure what's going on there, but really wanted to show you the radar here and the satellite imagery. As you can incredibly easily tell that this is an incredibly catastrophic and incredibly powerful typhoon. I completely forgot about it, and I'm like, I need to do an update on this really quick. And yes, we do have Hurricane Larry approaching Newfoundland. Landfall will be later today, in a couple hours later this evening, but there's the eye right there, incredibly powerful. One of the most catastrophic typhoons in record history. We also had to deal with, and again, there's the eye, just incredibly powerful, and just honestly one of the most incredible things ever seen. So we'll actually turn the rain off, so you can actually see the eye. Almost looks like it might be getting to fill in, or it might just be getting smaller. So this is the last 24 hours as the typhoon has rapidly intensified. It's gone over those warmer waters there, so an incredibly catastrophic typhoon there. Winds 180 miles an hour, and air pressure down to about 902 millibars. One of the most powerful typhoons in history right here in the Philippines. So very, very powerful, very catastrophic. Really just sort of wanted to talk about this, do a really quick update. Again, lots of storm surge, lots of heavy rains, just an incredibly powerful. And there you can really see that eye really starting to get really tight. And the smaller that eye is, the more powerful this typhoon is. I'm going to go to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. It's just so powerful. I literally don't even know what to say. Hello, how is everybody doing today? So I'm going to go right over to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and see what they're saying. So there it is. I have no idea how strong they've said the storm is. This is the latest update with maximum sustained winds of around 155 knots. How strong is that? 155 knots, 2 miles per hour. 178 miles an hour, which is rounds to about 180 miles per hour. 190 knots, 2 miles per hour. With winds gusting to nearly to about 220 miles per hour. So this is just a powerful, catastrophic, unrelentless, just devastating. It's like one of the most catastrophic, relentless, just deadly. Like, it is nothing. It's just horrible. It really reminds me of Haiyan. Also, we're dealing with Hurricane Larry as it is approaching Newfoundland. Tropical storm conditions are beginning to occur in parts of that area. So I really want to just give this a little short update. As again, we are dealing with such an incredibly powerful and catastrophic typhoon here. Very, very dangerous. Just really hard to even just watch as the storm is just barreling down on the Philippines. Now, thankfully, good news is typhoon, on this typhoon, I should say, is not making landfall in an area that's super populated. This does seem to be a relatively lower populated area. As you can clearly see, wind gusts are clearly more accurate. As you can see, wind gusts are nowhere even near the actual wind speed. But that doesn't matter because we're going to go straight to the satellite and just just taking a look at the satellite is kind of scary. You can kind of see how tiny this eye actually is. This eye is incredibly small. I'm actually still seeing in the blues. So I think the eye is starting to fill in a tiny bit. But just look at this in just the past 12 hours, how much the storm has gone through rapid intensification. It's just incredibly, it's really scary. So it just shows you how incredibly catastrophic this typhoon is. Very, very, one of the most powerful typhoons ever is occurring right now, as you can clearly see. Just an incredible typhoon here. There's the eye right there. Right now they're reading of an air pressure of 902 millibars. Just incredible. One of the most catastrophic typhoons has ever occurred on the planet. 902 millibars. Very, very powerful. Now again, this is actually nowhere near. You would have to drop over another 30 millibars. Actually, you have to drop another 32 millibars to become tied with the most powerful tropical cyclone. Again, goes to typhoon 2. But you can really see that eye really starting to shrink and tighten up. But I hate to say this, or I like to say this. Looks like the eye is starting to tighten up. And then once the eye gets too closed, it actually looks like it might be starting to fill in once we get towards these later frames. But again, there it is. An incredibly catastrophic typhoon there, ladies and gentlemen. Just, it's terrifying, honestly. It is so scary to see this right here. Again, 800 or 902 millibars, very, very low air pressure. Just incredible and scary. So let me just double check and make sure this is in millibars, because I don't understand inches of mercury, miles an hour, HPA, miles per hour. So I'm going to actually see the air pressure in this storm. Let's see what they're saying. 1,006, 1,003, 1,990, 980, 960. That is not the air pressure. Let's go GFS and see what they're showing. This is nowhere near the intensity of the storm. This is way off. It's incredible how off it is. But the air pressure is way lower than 870 or 860. It's down to closer to 900 millibars, honestly. It's incredibly, it's kind of scary just in how powerful the storm actually is. Just again, we're talking around just 800. We're talking almost below 900 millibars. It's very rare to see anything like that be below 800, 900 millibars. It's just something you don't see every day. You're watching in case we don't. So it's kind of really one of those things that we're watching, and it could potentially, it's really scary and terrifying. But there's a storm right there. It is an incredibly terrifying and incredibly scary typhoon right here. I don't know why nothing's loading. But again, there it is. Just incredibly how round that eye is, how much power that storm has. It's very rare to see anything this powerful. So the eye is very, very small. So just shows you when the storm develops. Well, there's the remnants of Konsan, I believe. But just another, unfortunately, catastrophic, powerful, relentless, catastrophic typhoon barreling right towards the Philippines. Unfortunately, again, it is not making landfall in an area that is very populated. Going right through those islands, which aren't heavily populated like some of the other parts of the Philippines are, but still, just still a very powerful typhoon there, as you can clearly see. So this is something we're definitely going to be looking at and watching. Now, fortunately, it's not making landfall in an area that's very populated. Unfortunately, it's still making landfall somewhere. So you can really see that eye really tightening up right there. That might be an eye wall replacement cycle. I'm not 100% sure. But that is the satellite imagery of typhoon, of the typhoon, I should say. It's terrifying. So I'm now going to just sort of shift over and top of this. You can actually see the wind shear shearing the storm apart off to the west here over Vietnam. So the storm is being sheared to the west, where they're getting a lot of that heavy rain over Vietnam and parts of Cambodia. So it's about to be daytime there in the Philippines. If we move over here towards this area, let's see some, I actually want to know how wide this eye is at. Because the smallest eye is about 2 miles wide. We'll say it's from here. Okay. 12 miles wide. So it is nowhere near the smallest eye. The smallest eye is about 2 miles wide. So it needs to shrink even smaller. And I think that belongs to... Wow, geez, still impressive how low this air pressure is. I believe that the smallest eye belongs to Hurricane Wilma. It was 2 nautical miles. But an eye can be 20 to 40 miles across. So, yeah, that just sort of shows you. You can really see how much it shrunk through its lifetime. If we go here, we'll say the eye starts from about here and goes across. So the eye has really shrunk a lot. It was over 20 miles wide at this time, at this period. Much bigger, but then we come into time now. You really see it kind of like almost filled in. It looks like it filled in a little bit. It's very hard to actually tell where it looks like it's filling in a little bit. Maybe the eye is from, because it's very hard to actually tell where the eye is. So I want to say the eye is from here to about here. So I truthfully think the eye is about 10 to 15 miles wide at this moment. We'll see if it fills back out again. It could just be an eye wall replacement cycle. We will see. So it might stunt the growth just a tad bit. Any comments, questions, or concerns? So the eye again isn't very big, but here we are also talking about Hurricane Larry. If we go to satellite imagery and here is Hurricane Larry as it is approaching Newfoundland right now. Still going, still getting a lot of convection. It is racing towards Newfoundland at a high rate of speed. Let's go to true color zoomed out so we can really see where this is in relation to Newfoundland. Oh, this is where the storm is in relation to Newfoundland. There it is, racing towards Newfoundland at over 20 to maybe even 30 miles per hour. Very, very powerful storm for this far north. It's still a hurricane. It's just going to clip the... So here it is. It is coming in this... It's actually moving. So it is actually going to just clip the very edge of Newfoundland. And they're getting... going to be seeing those tropical storm conditions are going to continue to increase, and the conditions there will continue to deteriorate. But again, just want to get this little update because I gotta actually leave. So that's me for today, guys. This here is something that's very, very rare to see: hurricanes in Canada, and obviously seeing some of the most powerful typhoons in history. 902 millibars. It's an incredibly, very powerful, catastrophic typhoon. So that's something also we're watching. So honestly, that's me for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will hopefully talk to you all very soon. I actually went this past 3 hours. Wonderful. So again, there it is, an incredibly powerful typhoon there. More convection happening around it. So that's it for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, and we will talk to you guys later. So, yep. And with all that being said, peace out.